Hey guys, welcome to the Gaming Nexus Show, the podcast for people who are into video games but want something a little different. What does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked, listener. Each week we take a word or a phrase or something like, I don't know, Eric, what are some things that we've used in the past?
Horses.
Yeah, and we make a podcast about video games with horses as our central focus. We did not do that this week. If you want to listen to our horses episode, which is a barn burner of an episode, you can listen to a couple of weeks back. But Eric, what was our theme this week?
Our theme this week was feelings. Picked by Joseph,
which is no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but is very there's no way he saw this coming.
No, there's no way he saw this coming.
But spoiler, the second of our 2-part program today focuses on Joseph, and is beyond moving. If you're not touched by what he has to say, then you do not have a heart. I think it's easy to say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Joseph has been through the ringer this holiday season. And he's not joining us this evening because he's not feeling well. Same thing with Max. Max is out this week. They're both under the weather. They got some of the holiday sickness, doing visits and things. And that's kind of all I'll say about that for the moment.
So like I said, we have a normal program. So we have a nice 2-part program where Eric and I talk about a game that I played a while ago, and Eric just got the chance to play.
Absolutely. We were talking about Hades in the first segment.
And then Eric sits down again with Joseph, like I said, and they have a little chat about feelings and games and family and, being appreciative for what you have, which I listened to last night for the first time and absolutely, I'm not going to say I cried. I didn't cry, but I definitely got that, that throat thing right there where you got a little stuffy for a minute where I was like, my goodness. So, I guess we'll just kind of leave it at that and let the show kind of play out.
That sounds great. Let's hit it.
Music Matrix.
So how did it take you 2 years to get into this game? Because you had to have seen the hype, right? You had to have heard the positive reviews, right?
Of course. Yeah,
right.
Of course. I mean, Hades was everywhere over the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Even before that, when it was in early access, it was everywhere. It's funny because I was a huge fan of Pyre. Like I played Bastion and Transistor.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, but they didn't resonate enough with me to actually beat them. Like, I love the art style of Super Giant Games, and I love their music. Like, the music they use is just...
The sound quality of Hades alone is just breathtaking. It's breathtaking.
Have you played Pyre?
So, I have not. I've purchased it, but it's just one of those things that, like, I haven't gotten to yet. That it's just on the ever long list of like, oh yeah, I own it. I'll get to it at some point. I gave them my money because I want to support them, but
it's funny because when I fired up Hades and that music kicked in, I got the chills because I was like, oh, it's Pyre, because like it's definitely the same person doing the music. It's the same hand drawn art style. It's like definitely the same look and feel. It's just like a very different game.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a sports game in a fantasy world, and like you go through this league and pick up, like, you draft players and so on, and like the sports gameplay itself gets pretty intense. Like, it's not easy as the game wears on, and I think the game is kind of built so that you fail at certain points and then have to like deal with that failure. But definitely worth a look. Okay, but let me back up.
But did you find that with Pyre? Did you find yourself replaying it at all?
I did not replay it at all.
Here's the interesting part about that. What's the developer's name? Super Giant Games?
Super Giant.
Giant, sorry. That was a problem they had with that game, where that game was meant to be played multiple times, and people were not doing that. And so that's what they changed about Hades, making this a game that you have to play multiple times to get, and not only have to, but want to. That was a struggle they really
interesting.
had. Yeah, I found that really interesting that they were like, hey, we put all this work into this game and people are not seeing everything we've put into it. How can we fix that for the next time? And I think they definitely have succeeded in like fixing that problem that they had.
Right. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't replay games often. And when I played Pyre, I think I was writing about games at that point, and I beat it. And I wasn't reviewing it.
Okay.
So that in itself, that's pretty rare that I'm going to like play a game and not reviewing it all the way to the end, because I'm always pulled in other directions.
Yeah.
You know, I have games that I play just for fun, but I almost always drop them when it comes time to review a game, you know, and never go back to them. But I beat Pyre. But okay, so what happened was during the holiday season, you know, like the game industry just dies during the holiday season.
I didn't
and this
know
is the
that.
first time you've experienced it from the inside, but it just
I haven't done shit in like 2.5, 3 weeks. And I'm like, am I gonna get kicked out? Because I haven't done anything. And then I look on the site to be like, oh, nobody else is doing anything either. I'm probably okay.
There's nothing to do.
But there's nothing to do. Yeah, there's literally nothing. It's been kind of refreshing because I went back and I played some Mass Effect. I've been playing some like Picross. I've been playing like these little games that I've always like find myself going back to. But I've never played this many games in a year. And I even started, I think, February, March, so not even a full year. But I've never played this many games in a year. At all. Like, I've never beat this many games in a year for sure. But like, let alone play this many stuff. And so it's been kind of refreshing these last. Like, I kind of feel like I've recharged because I'm really ready.
I mean, I look forward to it.
Yeah,
I look forward to it because like a week before Christmas until like maybe January 15th, the news cycle just goes away.
It's
you know, like
nice.
PR shuts down. You know, we don't get emails. There are no codes coming in, like maybe onesie, twosie sort of things here and there, but nowhere near the flood of stuff that we normally get. And so like, I look forward to it because that's the time where I can like game for myself or just not, or just like today, I'm not going to play games, you know,
exactly it.
Like watch TV or something. So, but this year I decided like, I've got Epic Game Store and I pick up like every freebie that they send out, which is a lot.
Particularly, and it was a pretty good run this year. It was a decent.
It was a good run. Yeah.
It really capped it off with a phenomenal set of games.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't believe that. I was shocked that they put all 3, Tomb Raider games out like that.
Yeah. And then I've got Game Pass, and then I've got this massive Steam library from just years of Humble Bundle games that I've never played. And so I decided this year that I was just going to drop into stuff that I've always wanted to try. Okay. Right. So I started out with Loop Hero because I missed that this year.
Yeah.
And I recorded videos of all these and put them up on my YouTube channel. And like, these games are older, not like nobody's really interested in watching me run Loop Hero right now, but I did it just for fun, like just for me.
Yeah.
And then I played the Hunter Call of the Wild, which I was shocked at how beautiful that game is. It's been around for years, I guess. But it's got like 8 or 9 national forests, like perfectly reconstructed in it, and you go out and you wander around and you hunt, you like track animals and stuff, but it's gorgeous. Like the graphics are just beautiful. So it's fun just to kind of boot it up and just go wander around, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. So I did that. I did Faria, which is like a Hearthstone style, card game, which I really enjoyed. I'm still playing that. I did Pathfinder Kingmaker just because I've always wanted to check it out.
I'm that way too. That game has been in my wish list for a long time, and I was glad that it's finally like was made available for free. And I'm like, oh, that's a deep dive that I don't think I'm quite ready to make yet, but
it's really good.
That's like everyone says that. So.
I was shocked at how good it was, and like I was kind of intimidated because everybody makes it out like, oh, it's real hard. But I just set it on easy, and I'm just cruising through it.
Yeah.
And it just the story and the writing and the characters. Like if you're a D&D person,
it's right up your alley. Which it totally is. Yeah.
Beautiful D&D, like just a wonderful video game version of D&D. I really, really like it. Great characters, great writing.
Yeah.
And so then the last one was Hades because it's on Game Pass, and that's what took me so long is because I don't really. This is real shitty to say, but I don't really buy games anymore. You know,
I
like
get you.
like I get games, and
Yeah.
I have all these subscriptions.
Yeah, and Game Pass
and
makes
then,
it so you don't need to.
Yeah, and then we get games, because we write about games,
Yeah.
and so I've got this steady influx of games all the time, and usually I just look through the backlog of those and like just pick one
something.
if I want
Sure.
something new. So I hadn't gotten around to Hades yet. And the other side of thing is that I'm not a roguelike guy,
Okay.
like I'm just it's not my jam. But I knew since it was Supergiant, like I knew there was going to be something special about it. And of course everybody, you hear all the hype.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't always buy into all the hype, like just because something's super hyped up. Like I've never played The Last of Us or The Last of Us
I fall
2.
into the hype train a lot. I get excited. Like Pokemon's getting ready to come out, and I am excited for it. I've heard negative, I've heard positive. I don't care. I'm just like hyped for it. I used to be that way with World of Warcraft expansions, where I would that month leading up to it, where they would like the pre-patch where like some weird event was taking place. Man, I was just a sucker. I'm a sucker for hype with video games.
Which makes it kind of fun. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. It's a fun feeling to have.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be super hyped for the next Supergiant game.
Yeah.
Because like now I'm on board. Like I knew, like I said, Bastion and Transistor were good, but not necessarily for me. Pyre was wonderful and I just loved it. And now I'm into Hades, and like, of course, it blew my mind immediately. Like I didn't expect it to be as fast as it is.
Yes.
I didn't expect it to be as fluid as it is. Like
a roguelike with a story is unheard of. It's unheard of.
Yeah. And like I don't necessarily mind dying because I like to go back and bring my spoils back and unlock more stuff and talk to the dudes that are like hanging out in the castle. And it's fun. This is the first time I can ever say this in a game. It's fun to see how far I can get.
Yeah.
Normally I get, if I make it really far and I die, I get pissed. Because I'm like, I should have got, but in this one, I'm like, oh, I made it like halfway through the second biome. Like, that's really good for me at this stage,
Yeah.
And so, like, but like I said, the gameplay is so fast and so fluid, and the perk system,
I think so too.
It makes every run different, and you have to try to like figure out how to maximize the perks that you get from the different gods.
You're like building.
There was
builds.
one early run. I posted a 2-hour video, which was my first attempt at playing it.
Okay.
And I actually got I played until I beat the first Fury Meg.
Okay.
And I got a little further into the second biome in my first 2-hour experience. And I got a perk that was like sacrifice 2/3 of your hit points.
Okay.
But every time you hit somebody, you get a hit point back.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm immortal. Like,
there's some fantastic.
Because then I took more perks to get more hit points back. Yeah. And man, I was just womping on these fools and dashing and womping on. And when I unlocked the shield and I could do the Captain America shield
just
special.
Game over. It's game over.
I was like, oh, it's on, bitches. Yeah. It's on. Yes. I'm just whooping the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. Like that 2 hours was some of the most fun I've had playing a video game easy, last year or two.
Yeah.
Like just like I was like hollering during my video, like, oh bitches, oh, like it was really a good time.
The thing for me that sunk it for me as I was playing and I could beat Meg pretty regularly, right? I could beat the second boss pretty regularly. I could beat the third boss on occasion, right? And then you die and you do another run and you get to the first boss, you get to Meg and it's not Meg. And you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? And you're like, oh, this isn't Meg. This is Meg's sister. And oh shit, this is a different game now. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
Oh shit. That hasn't happened to me yet.
Oh, it's crazy because Meg has 2 sisters, if you may recall. And you face both of them. You face all 3 of them. And they're all 3 completely different boss fights for the first boss. Where you're like, I can breeze through this boss. This lady is no problem. And then you go, oh shit. This is a different game. And it does that as you continue to go through the biomes. Like, there's new twists to that dragon that you're fighting. There's new twists to, like, the bull and what's his name. Like, there's new twists as you're going. And once you win the first time, you're not even done with the story, because the story of how like it's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers.
That's amazing. I had no idea. that happens.
The first time
I'm probably
I'm flabbergasted.
4 hours in at this point.
Yeah.
I've beat Meg like 2 or 3 times and then like go into the second biome and get squashed, you know. So
yeah.
I'm still kind of, learning. But like overall, how long did it take you to like beat the game?
So to beat all of the bosses, to have seen all of the video game portion of the content, it probably took me a week. And I bought the game the day it came out. I saw it on the Nintendo Indies, right? The Nindies or whatever. I bought it that day because everyone was like, "Oh, this game's gonna be really good," and I just sunk myself into it for that week. At the time I was teaching driver's ed still, so my day would start at like 1:00. So I would get up when my wife would get up to go to work, because she had a normal like 9 to 5 kind of job, and I'd get up. I go to the gym, I come back, I take a shower, and then I would play that from like 9:30 till like 12:15, 12:30 every day for a week. And I would try to get further and further and further. And I started to get better with like the builds. Like, oh, I'm going for a speed build this time. I'm going for a lightning build this time because I keep getting Zeus stuff. You know, I found weapons that I'm like, oh, the trident speaks to me. Stuff like that. And so the first time you play against Hades, you're like, this fight is insane. And then you realize it's like a Dragon Ball Z fight where it's just like the first version of that fight, where you're like, oh, and now here, let's do it this way. And you're like, oh shit, I'm about to die, because I thought I had finally finished it and I was like halfway through that fight. Right. But then you have to go all the way back again, which can feel defeating, but it's also not, because you're like, oh, if I could get my build that I want when I get to him, I have no problem with it. So it didn't take me very long to like beat that game, but also like once you beat it, like I said, you're not done with it story wise. Like there's more story about like, why is he trying to escape Hades? It's not really what you think it is, and then the reasoning for why he's trying to escape kind of changes and warps to become something different, and you actually have to beat the game several times over to get the full story of like why he's searching for his mother and why she won't come back to Hades with him. Like it's crazy. And like I said, the fact that they've added so much story into a game that about dying and starting over is crazy to me. They've done such a good job. And so I can see why this game has won the Hugo. Right?
So it's kind of like a Nier Automata sort of deal, right? Did you play that game?
I very like yes, but
briefly.
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either, but that's the word on that game, is that you play it once, you haven't seen the game. Like you have to go back and do it again to like really get the full scope of the thing.
Yeah, and that's how this is. If you want to know everything that's happening, you have to play it a couple of times, and that's what I kind of enjoid about it, because like the gameplay is great. It's
very rewarding just in the moment.
Yeah. And roguelikes are a genre that our friend of the show, Jeff from Budget Arcade, Hitchcock Chronologically, you listen to his podcast wherever you can find podcasts. He got me into that genre a couple of years ago when I started doing the podcast with him. Because before then, roguelikes were just a thing like I never even really heard of. But I love that, being able to pick up and play. And I haven't played Hades in almost a year, I'd say. But when you started mentioning about playing it, and I was like, oh, we should talk about it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play it. I've been playing the last like 2 days, and I'm like, oh, this is so fun. It's like just like I remembered it. But it's still fresh enough that like I can get a different weapon and go at it again, and like I can work my way up. I haven't beaten the game since I like started playing it again, because it is challenging. But
what are you playing on? Are you playing on PC or Switch?
I'm playing on Switch. I'm playing on the Switch, and it runs smooth. It's crazy.
Does it?
How
I was wondering like how it would look
great.
on Switch, because
I have no problem.
I'm playing it on the PC. And my monitor's not 4K, but it's higher resolution than 1080p. It's like in the middle or somewhere.
Sure.
And man, this game looks crisp. Like it looks gorgeous, and like so much detail and so on. Does it show up?
It
like
does.
when you're on.
In docked mode, it does really, really well. In handheld, you definitely can have some frame rate issues with some of those big boss like explosions, especially if you take certain moves that like Like when you step, you have like a pool of lightning or fire underneath your feet. And if you're like dashing, you can kind of be like, oh, you can see it's definitely like, oh, the Switch isn't quite like capable of like doing this exactly as you want. But I never had a problem playing it on the Switch. I never had an issue where like, oh, the game screwed me. I've never had that playing on the Switch. I've never had a problem with it. So,
gotcha. Cool.
Because it was, I think, made originally for the Switch, and then kind of like they were like, oh, why aren't we making this for more like consoles?
Yeah, which makes sense. How is it like playing it in handheld? Like, it's like as far as holding it in the button size and like I feel like if I normally don't play super intense action games in handheld on the Switch because I feel like I'm just gonna snap those Joy-Cons right off of it.
There are 3 or 4 games that I will only play on handheld. Picross, I don't know if you know Picross, but it's like a puzzle game. I love Picross. That game's the best on handheld. It's almost unplayable on like docked mode. Just doesn't work very well. Tetris Effect connected is fantastic on handheld mode, right? Yeah. But most games like Mario Kart, I cannot stand playing Mario Kart on the Switch proper, right? If I'm just playing with the Switch with 2 Joy-Cons attached to it. I have a couple of different grips and like cases and things that like alter the Switch. So like I have the Satisfy grip is what it's called, which like makes it kind of like adds like kind of weight to the back of it, so it feels more like a regular handheld. If I'm playing with that, I can usually do it, but like Hades on handheld mode, it's a little rough for me, but the Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch is so good. It is. I think
it's a stellar controller.
I think the Xbox controller is the best controller right now, but I think the Switch version is a very close second.
I was thinking I might actually try it on the cloud. Like I'm playing a downloaded version right now, but it's also on Xbox Game Cloud, which I've been just kind of like fiddling around with just to see how it works, and I'm pretty impressed with it.
Okay.
But I haven't played a really like responsive game like that,
really
something like that where it really takes like timing, and so on. And I'm a Stadia guy, and that stuff works stellar on Stadia.
Yeah, you love it. Yeah, you're a huge Stadia proponent.
Yeah, no problem. You can get on there and play Mortal Kombat or like a rhythm game or whatever on Stadia. No problems at all. Like zero latency. But I haven't tried that yet on Xbox Game Cloud, and this seems like a good one to like.
It would be a really
try
good
that
one
out
to
with.
see. Yeah.
Because if it's like even a 1/10 of a second off, you're gonna feel
Hades
it.
It's devastating. It can be super devastating. But that's one of the other things I kind of like is like those fights can be like super devastating. But man, does it feel good to beat them sometimes? Like. It's so rewarding. It's such a well-written, made, rewarding game. When you accomplish something, you're like, hot damn, I am the shit, even if you're not,
All right.
Cool.
Hades, there it was. We did it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth playing. And like I said, it's one. I don't know if you're a Hugo Award kind of guy that you pay attention to that kind of stuff.
To an extent.
I'm that way too. I try to read like all of the Hugo short stories or novellas.
I was just gonna say that. Like every year they put out like the book of the Hugo winning short stories.
Yes,
I try to grab that.
I do that too.
I'm actually right now I'm reading the 2011 one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I try to do that almost every year. I'm a big Hugo guy. And 2021 was the first year that they ever did a video game category, and it might actually be the only year they actually do a video game category. It's like one of those things that they're looking for, but like. For this game to win that, I think it's super fitting for it. And when you see what it's up against, it's against like The Last of Us and Animal Crossing and a couple of other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head. But like when I looked at that list, Hades definitely stood out for being something that should be like a Hugo Award winner.
It's the clear winner.
Yeah. And like I said, whenever I see the Hugo Award like winner sticker on any book, I'm like, that's got to be a pretty decent like book. I automatically just that sticker alone to me like shows like quality, for storytelling. And I think Hades has a great storytelling to it. Like I said, there's some twists and turns that you're like, oh, if you can stick with it. And it requires a lot of playthroughs to get there, but I think it was worth it. I really enjoyed it. I found it super fascinating. It makes me want to play their other game, and it makes me want to play it multiple times because like I said, from what I've read, it's worth playing multiple times just to see everything, to experience it all.
Yeah, well, you got it. Boot it up, man. Boot it up. It's totally worth it.
games as experiences I really get into. Games that aren't real games to some people, I really can get into that kind of stuff.
Music Matrix.
I am here with Joseph today. And Joe, when we ended our last show, you won the spinner and you got to choose the topic for this week.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike my topics,
right, you're again
horses,
underrated.
I think so. Led to some cool shows. You chose feelings.
Yes.
And that really opens up the board because it could be taken a number of different ways, right? You know, like what feelings do games inspire in you? What was a time where you played a game and you had strong feelings and so on? But unbeknownst to you, you were heading into a period in your life where you were going to have some really intense feelings.
Yes.
And some of them are actually game related,
yes.
which is why we're talking about it on the podcast. And some of them are not. And we're going to talk about those too. So before we really get into it, I want to ask you about your cousin. What's your cousin's name?
Ania Clark.
Ania Clark.
Kyrie Clark.
And can you tell me a little bit about Ania as a person? Like, who is this human being?
Yeah, so Ania was a person who, first and foremost, loved her family. She loved her cousins endlessly. She loved her aunt that she lived with, had to take her in after her mom passed. She loved so much. Ania also loved to, so every Thanksgiving, since Grandma passed, there's been a different person who is gonna cook most of the desserts for the family, and Nia became that person. And you know, whether it was the sweet potato pie or the cheesecakes or whatnot, Ania would prepare those for us, and they were like, not, no joke, not saying this for effect, they were so good. Like she as we would say, she put her foot in those desserts, man. They were amazing. So
and she just did this last Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, she just did this last Thanksgiving. So much so that my niece Daviana ate 3/4 of an entire cheesecake to herself, and no one else got any piece of that cheesecake. No, and so Ania yelled and screamed and was like, I can't believe you ate all my cheesecake, whatnot. So that is definitely one of the coolest memories I'm going to have of her. But I could go on and on, but Ania, through anxiety, through the grief that is losing her mom, she loved everyone through it, man. And and she loved a lot.
And when did her mom pass?
It had to be like 3 years ago. I don't have an exact date.
Right. And so then after that, she moved in with your mom.
Yes.
And
yes.
she was staying there.
Mm-hmm.
And so how old was she?
19.
19. And she was a big gamer, right?
Yes.
Like
yes.
that was one of her primary deals.
Yes. I don't want to. I don't know if I got her into it or our cousin Joshua got her into it, but I know that we're not a big gaming family. But if we had video games in front of us, we were gonna play them. But Ania, she really found in playing video games, it helped her. It soothed her. It helped her cope, if you will. It let her escape.
Which I mean, me too, man.
That's the thing, right?
Like just to be real, during the pandemic, like gaming and our association with Gaming Nexus and the social outlet that gives us and playing games with each other and just being able to just sink into a game and stop thinking about life for a while and let all the tension of that comes in just living in the world right now kind of seep out. So I 100% get that.
Yeah.
So what type of games was she playing?
Well, so she finally she has a vanilla Xbox One, right? Not the S or the whatever. She had a vanilla Xbox One, and she she started off with like your Call of Duty Black Ops and things like that, just Dead Rising and
Sure.
stuff like that.
Oh, I
but
love Dead Rising.
we played NBA 2K. And I don't remember what year we started playing NBA 2K. But I noticed that she started playing these video games, and I started talking mad nonsense. Like, there's, you got to step your game up. There's no way, what I mean? You got a long way to go if you're going to beat the master, the master of the family. I'm the guy, I'm the man. Not knowing that my cousin Joshua was waiting in the wings. And let me just give a side note to him. Joshua will kill and destroy anyone I put up against him. And I would love to see Joshua and your son go at it.
Oh, Aiden goes, man.
I know. And that's what I'm comparing Joshua to. Joshua goes. I mean, they sit. It's like, I listen to your story. They sit and they study and they read and they study and then they play and then they go back and they study. Like, Joshua is the jam. Now, Nia, she was starting to work on that, right? But again, I talked nonsense. I said, you know what? You pick any game. I'll beat you in it right now. So she picked the NBA 2K, and I picked the Lakers, and I don't even remember who she picked, and I slaughtered her. I just did. I did. I slaughtered her, and I was like, that's the way the cookie crumbles, whatever, right? Just kind of brushed it off as in it was the Thanksgiving thing. It was whatever holiday thing. It was either Thanksgiving or Christmas. We play a game, it'd be done. Ania spent the next year, Eric, practicing, playing, and then the next year came around. I said, "You ready to play it again? Let's do it." I swear to you, it was like playing someone new, because Ania whooped my ass.
She brought it.
It was the same NBA 2K. It wasn't like the year later. It was the same. So all the mechanics are the same. Everything whatever. She whooped my ass. Ania whooped my ass. And I said, okay, we're going to have to get another game, right? And she was like, well, let's play Call of Duty. I was like, no. No. And she was like, well, you got, she said, you got work to do. And I said, oh, okay. So next year rolls around, right? Jump Force.
Now, did you know ahead of time Jump Force?
Did not know Jump Force. Did not know anything about Jump Force, right?
Right.
So, I don't know nothing about Jump Force. I don't know anything about the Naruto. So it's that engine, right? It's that game engine. And for those of you who do not know, Jump Force is a game where they take a whole bunch of anime characters and they put them in a fighting game. So you got your Dragon Ball Z, your Naruto, your Bleach, your whatnot. And they take a bunch of anime characters and they just throw them into this game. And it's 3-on-3, so you pick 3 characters, and you can switch them out at any time.
Ooh, I love that. I love it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, super crazy move. So, like, your super move, like, you push a button, and the super move takes, like, 30 seconds to pop off, and all you can do is stand there and die. Like, it's just, like, over the top, these crazy super moves, right? So, again, me not knowing anything about Jump Force, but me going... Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
Street Fighter, yeah, you got this. Yeah,
I got this, right?
Yeah, totally. Gaming, fighting game translates, right?
Fighting game translates, right?
Yeah, my son thought that when he took me on in Power Rangers. Power Rangers, man, I love that game.
Yeah, because it's accessible until you find somebody who's learned all the ins and outs, and then you get hit with a 32 hit combo.
Right.
So I was fighting game, whatever. I got you. I got to, This is me. I guess you picked the wrong game. Boy. Ania watches this anime stuff like nobody's business. She could tell you everything you need to know about anime. I took Ania to an anime convention twice. So I kind of figured, she knows her anime characters, but she don't know no games, right? She don't know no games. Man, Ania took them. She actually, I picked Goku, Trunks, and Cell, and she laughed at me. All Dragon Ball Z characters? Are you serious? It's like, yeah, I'm serious. They got to be the most powerful in the game. It's Goku. It's Goku. You know? Nah, man. Ania, again, proceeded to whoop my ass in Jump Force. And I mean, like, so I tried to make the excuse that the moves are too easy to pull off. Like, all you got to do is, like, hold a trigger and push a button, and the moves and, whatever. But you got to set that up, right? And there's a teleport, and you can call your partner in and him do a super move. So she knew all these game mechanics. Ania set me up and destroyed me, dude. She destroyed me in that game. Jump Force, so instead of once a year, I would go over there every now and then. And every time I go over to my mom's house, I would go, let's play. Like, because I wanted revenge. I have never beat Ania in Jump Force. How long has Jump Force been out?
Oh, I don't know, like 3 years? Like, so long that they're retiring. Like, the servers are closing
right. The
down.
servers are going down in October of 2022, right?
Right.
So Jump Force released, let me just get this up here.
I'm saying at least 2 years.
2018.
Yeah, oh, yeah. There we go. 4 years.
So 4 years, right? Ania has beaten my ass in that game for 3 years. Unequivocally. Like, she, and I don't know how she fared against other people. I don't know how many people she played online, but she used to whoop my ass in Jump Force.
So it sounds like there's a little bit of that competitive spirit living in her, like
100%. 100%. And so much so that, so I would overhear her playing the Call of Duty games. Talking mad junk.
Yeah.
Talking mad junk to everybody. But respectful enough, telling me that Fortnite is terrible, telling me that I need to step my game up, telling me, again, I'm the bully of the family when it came to video games until Joshua and Ania came along. And then Ania stepped up and she was just like, not anymore.
How old is Joshua?
Joshua is, I think he just turned 21 or 22.
Gotcha. So closer in age to her. Are you all cousins? Like, is Joshua her cousin too? Gotcha.
Yes. So, yeah, man, it's it was uncanny. So it leads me. So again, she plays Warzone. She plays Jump Force. She had all these games on her Xbox. And we finally got her, like, last year, we got her an HD TV because she was playing all these on, like, just kind of like a 720p, Dynex, you know what I mean? Like,
hand me down.
Yeah. So we finally got her the 4Ks, and so she's playing, she beat Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah, it's weird that generation with Cyberpunk.
Man,
she wait like a year before she played it, right?
No.
Oh,
she got it immediately.
Oh, really?
She got it immediately and beat Cyberpunk on a vanilla Xbox One.
Wow.
This is not a joke. She beat Cyberpunk, and so Eric, one time I brought over. One time she came over here. And I was playing Stadia when she came in. Yeah. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm playing Cyberpunk. She's like, yeah, but what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, why didn't you have those people help you in that first part? And I was like, just like you said, right? And I was like, I don't know. So Ania took my controller, went back, called the people that could help you, went forward, beat the mission, handed me back the controller, and I have not touched that game since. Because Ania had to show me the way through Cyberpunk after you was just like, you gotta have those people help you. Nope. Ania beat that whole mission for me, and it's like one of the firsts. So I was just like, oh well, Ania, you're okay. We get it. You're better. Fine. You're better. So yeah, Ania, her gaming prowess was top notch, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, we got to get into what happened, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know the details, as no one knows the details, because we, as a country, are probably too arrogant for any type of tracking, if you will.
Or, I mean, at this point, it might just be too big.
Yeah.
It might be too big.
That's true. But Ania contracted COVID, and she passed away on December 26th. She had been in the hospital for probably 3 weeks.
December 26th. Day after Christmas.
Yes, day after Christmas.
She'd been in the hospital for 3 weeks. That's
she had been in the hospital
long...
for 3 weeks. And again, this is kind of all of a blur to me. It's weird, man. Like, yeah, it's weird. And
what was Christmas like with your family?
We had this big elaborate, we do this big elaborate gift exchange. We, get everybody together, and then we draw names, and somebody has somebody else. We had this big elaborate gift exchange ready to go, and we kind of got the call that Ania needed to go onto a ventilator.
Yeah.
And she was scared, and she didn't want to. And my mom was kind of at a wit's end. She's 19. She has consent. She knows what
she could make her own decisions.
She can make her own decisions, and that's exactly what she did.
So did she refuse the ventilator then?
She did.
She did. Flat out refused it.
She refused it, and then a couple days later, after talking and thinking about it, she did. And clearly she did not come through. So it's,
So let's just get into the COVID thing for a minute, because
sure.
I mean, like, I think it's important to talk about. So
yes.
Do you mind saying how your condition at this very moment?
I have COVID.
Yep.
Now, I'm fully vaccinated. I don't have the booster, but I have COVID. I just tested positive again this morning at the time of this recording. You brought over a COVID test, and I really appreciate that.
No problem. And I honestly was like, oh, he's good. And you were like, why don't you come in? And I was like, yeah. let's look up your 1-up.
Arcade 1-up stuff.
Arcade machines and stuff. So I went in, and then like I got back home, and like 40 minutes later you texted like it's positive, and I was like, oh goddamn.
Yeah. So, but you tested.
So
you're good.
I've been testing myself all week this week, and so far I've tested negative. But Joe and I both wore masks while we were hanging out at his house.
Yes.
And it was a pretty brief visit, because obviously he wasn't feeling well, and his wife and baby, or girlfriend and baby, are there, and so yeah, okay, so you have COVID currently.
Yes.
You're obviously doing okay. You're like on the mend.
Yes, I am on the mend. But it's, we talk about sensationalism. We talk about, the government getting involved, and we talk about the media getting involved. We talk about Facebook, man. I gotta use it. I gotta use this platform to just tell y'all, man, this shit is real. This shit is serious. And I can't believe I'm telling you this after 2 years. And it's not one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm finally figuring out that it's real. No, I realized that it was real when that shit happened. When I was sitting in a bar when the first few COVID cases started hitting, and I was like, oh shit, I got to get the fuck out of here. And, in 2021, that shit kind of was just like, maybe it's starting to let up a little bit. Nah.
Yeah, I mean,
shit,
I think we all started feeling
Yeah.
like it was starting to let up a little bit, and I think that mixed with people being just tired,
Yeah.
just tired of not seeing their friends and tired of not hanging out, like we all started just kind of loosening our
We
boundaries,
sure did.
and then of course Omicron comes roaring in like a freaking hurricane.
Yeah.
And we're all still like, but I thought we were loosening up, like we could still do the Christmas party, right?
Right.
And obviously, like this new wave is crazy.
It is
bad.
It's
It is crazy bad.
It's crazy.
And so before all this, like, where were you at with COVID? Were you like being more chill about things? Were you not taking it as seriously? Were you still like pretty locked down? Like,
I was, it was kind of a hybrid, right? Like if I knew I was around somebody who I knew wasn't going out there and doing stupid shit, like I was around them. You know what I mean? Like I had a close circle of people. Conspiracy shows, you mask up when you're not singing, and when you are singing, you're kind of 6 feet apart and just kind of going with you're vaccinated. These vaccines work or whatnot, and you're just thinking, okay, I have a cloud of protection, maybe I'm good, maybe this is winding down. And then it's like you said, Omicron came in, and it was like, nah, man, y'all gotta sit back down. And here we are waiting for people to shut us down, and I'm like, can't we just shut our own shit down? We could shut ourselves down. Like we don't have to be out there. It's just a lot. And I gotta take this time, man, to tell, if you're listening and you think this is sensationalism, or you think this isn't the podcast for you right now. Right now, I'm telling y'all right now, this is serious. This is serious. Please take this seriously, because I don't want y'all to feel what I'm feeling right now. And what I'm feeling right now, man, I wouldn't wish this on anybody in the world. We are saying goodbye to a 19-year-old black woman for COVID. All those things you guys used to say that, oh, she's not old enough and she doesn't have any underlying, all that shit, man. All that shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could be the healthiest person in the world, and this shit will kill you. Shit is serious. It's serious.
What's so scary about it is, like, I think sometimes this younger generation, and of course this is perpetuated by social media and stuff that people see online, but they feel like just their youth is their barrier, their shield, because the numbers of young people that are affected in such an adverse way are, smaller, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen,
Right.
Like it happens to children, and yeah, those numbers are small, but it does happen, and it's a roll of the dice. It's always a roll of the dice. And I just so strongly feel like, why take the chance? Like, why not help yourself, and give yourself an edge to fight it off?
Just give yourself an edge. Just give yourself a chance. Give your family a chance. Give your friends a chance. Love each other enough, or respect each enough enough to give them a chance. And if you don't want to get vaccinated, fine. Wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from everybody, man, because this shit is real. It's real. Period.
You saw it with your own two eyes.
And I've seen it before. I've seen friends get sick. There are people on my improv team that fucking have it. There are people all up and down your Twitter and your Facebook timeline that have it. There are people who are fully vaccinated who right now can't even breathe correctly.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was hospitalized for like 2 weeks. He never had to go on a ventilator, thank God, but he did have to like be in the hospital. People I work with, friends, I mean, obviously everybody at this point, if they haven't had COVID themselves, knows a lot of people that have had it, and the range of how it affects people, like we were saying, is just so dramatic. It's so dramatic.
And I think what's fucked up about this whole thing, Ian, say, I think we didn't talk about it as much as I'm not saying that we should talk about it on every podcast or every stream or whatever, every chance we get, but we we kind of shied away from talking to, because I talk to my close personal circle or whatever, but I never use like a platform to be like, yo, take this shit seriously. Like, because
I mean, I think in general, platforms like ours avoid it, because like they're not trying to bring everybody down, know?
Right.
But I mean, this in a way is what we do, like we I mean, everything is personal with us, we talk about our lives and we talk about our families and we talk about the ways that gaming impacts, those things. But I'm with you. I think it's very important right now to take this opportunity to really just come right out and say it, and encourage people, anybody listening, encourage them to take care of themselves, in whichever way they choose. Obviously, obviously we would like them to get vaccinated and give themselves that edge. But if not, if they prefer isolation and staying, apart from people, just take care of yourself.
All that shit can wait, man. It'll be over before you know it if we fucking come together and fucking just do something. We just got to stand up and do something.
So how's your family now? Like your family's always been like really good to me.
Yeah.
We go back. How's everybody doing?
If you let them tell you, they're fine. But we're pretty broken, man. It's eye-opening on the obvious COVID end, but it's also eye-opening in the fact that we don't have to tell each other how much we love each other, right? We don't. And it's like you said, we've always been good to you. We're always good to people who come in because of us. Like anybody outside of us, if we bring you in, man, you're a family. You're part of the family. Like my mom will like take anybody in, we're confused. We're hurt. We're grieving. We're tired. This is the third big one in like 5 years.
Yeah.
I lost, we lost our another cousin of mine, a very close cousin of mine, at 40. And my cousin who just passed, the 19-year-old, Ania, I will say that, the reason she was scared of being put in all these tubes and everything, because she sees these things online and she's a kid. Of course she sees this shit online, right? She doesn't want to be in under these tubes because that's how she fucking found her mom.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to be like, I don't want that shit. That's how I found my fucking mom. I don't want that shit on me. That's what happens to my mom. These are the conversations y'all don't want to fucking have. I'm telling y'all right now. I'm telling y'all don't want a nurse to call y'all FaceTime and say goodbye to a loved one. Y'all don't want to be in a hospital hysterical, grabbing your fucking face trying to keep yourself together and catching COVID, because you can't keep your shit together. I had to watch a 19-year-old in a bed thinking that she was not going to be there that long. Y'all don't want to have these conversations, y'all. I'm telling you, please, for everything that you love and hold dear, y'all gotta stay safe. Get y'all shit together, or we are not going to make this. We are not going to make it through this. Please, just get it together. That's all I'm asking. And y'all don't have to do it for me. Do it for you. Do it. If you want to be selfish about the shit, do it for you. Do it for you. Do it so you don't have to have these conversations. Do it so you don't have to worry about it. Do it so you could play with your siblings or your cousins or your aunts and uncles or your babies. Because that shit is real. That shit is real. You can't fucking play with your own fucking kids if you have COVID. That shit is real. And that alone, that's not even the worst part. That's what I'm telling y'all. Just do it for y'all. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for the people outside of your family. Y'all gotta stay safe. By any way you feel like you should stay safe. Stop reading your fucking friends' Facebook comments. Stop. If they're not a medical professional, that shit ain't real. Period. Straight up. Honestly. And I mean, that's I could go on. I'm not. But yeah. It's crazy. The whole thing is crazy. I do want to read this. This is part of her obituary. Ania attended local conventions dressed in her cosplay, enjoyed the vibes of her fellow anime followers. Ania also developed a strong connection and family-like bond within her gaming community. She was accepted for her true self by all of her friends that shared her love of anime and all things gaming. It was known that she was a beast. She could hang with the best of them and even beat one of them, self-proclaimed Joseph. She relished in the opportunity to connect with so many people from the comforts of her own personal space. Her loving spirit could be felt near or far. Ania had an uncanny way of touching people's lives. We'll never know.
All right. I love you, Joe.
I love you too, man. Rest in peace to Ania, Kyrie Clark. And Matt, family, if you're listening, I love you. Thank you for giving me this time. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Music maker.
Well, again, ending on anything other than on that is kind of doesn't do Joseph or his cousin justice. So we're kind of just ended on that. Eric has been kind enough to allow me to choose the word.
I have. Since I've had so many turns and Joseph got to pick the last one. Max isn't here. I feel it's only fair that Elliot chooses our next topic.
And you would think that I would have a list of words ready because I have not had a single chance to do that.
This is how horses gets picked.
And I'm looking at the walls and I don't have anything there. I have a can of air to the right of me for cleaning my keyboard. I'm gonna go with, oh my gosh, I'm stalling for time. I'm gonna go with difficulty. Let's go with difficulty.
Difficulty is a great one. That's a great topic.
Difficulty coming up with a topic, so we'll go with that.
No, I think that's awesome, and I think you're right. I think we should probably just end it on that to do appropriate justice to Joseph's segment.
Absolutely. So we'll be back in 2 weeks as always, 2 Thursdays from now with some stories about difficulty and video games. So
thanks for listening to the Gaming Nexus Show, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Take it easy.